Hey guys, Big Bad 310s here again with another edition of All Sides of the Wrestling World. That's right, I said it differently this time. Okay, we got a lot to talk about. I'm going to talk about a WWE DVD, and I'll explain why that's significant. TNA pay-per-view, PWG show, CZW shows, and a WSU show, which has the match of the year on it, and a bunch of shoot interviews. Before I get into everything, let me say that the WSU show has, in my opinion, the best match all year. Mercedes Martinez versus Angel Orsini. I think this match is better than Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. I think it's better than Eddie Edwards, Roderick Strong. I think it's better than Roderick Strong, David Richards, Eddie Kingston, Claudio Castagnoli, the Elimination Chamber, the SmackDown Elimination Chamber match, every match. I think this is the best match of the year, and it's women's wrestling. Now, if you want to hear me talk about that, you're just going to have to wait till the end of the video, because it's going to be at the end, but definitely match of the year, so yeah, I would wait and listen to that review. Now we get on to the WWE DVD. Now, this is significant because usually, like, I get WWE DVDs, like right now I'm just looking over at my shelf, True Story of WrestleMania, Ricky Steamboat, 50 Greatest Superstars of All Time, and Chris Jericho's DVD. Usually I get these WWE DVDs, and I kind of put them aside. You know, I go on, I continue with what I'm watching, and whenever, like, I watch all the current indie stuff, that always takes priority. And then I start watching my old Ring of Honor DVDs that I've saved up, because I have a lot saved up from last year. And then once I finish that, then I get to the WWE DVDs. That's what happened last year. Like, I randomly reviewed Greatest Stars of the 90s, the Starrcade, the Shawn Michaels DVD. I randomly reviewed that, like, 6 months after they all came out. And so that's what happening again. The Chris Jericho DVD is pushed back. The Ricky Steamboat DVD, the 50 Greatest Superstars, True Story of WrestleMania. Now, why did I not push this DVD back? Because, quite simply put, I wanted to see this DVD. I've known that they were releasing a Nitro DVD, and it caught my interest because that Jericho DVD, I've probably seen every match on there. That Ricky Steamboat DVD, I've already looked at the listing. I've seen most of those matches. The True Story of WrestleMania, that's a documentary, and I've seen most of those matches. Actually, I've seen all of those matches. 50 Greatest Superstars, I heard, wasn't a very good documentary. This DVD, legitimately, I think there was like one thing on this whole DVD that I had seen. As far as match goes, I think that was Hogan Goldberg. I don't think there was another match that I had ever seen before. So I knew this would be completely new information. So I was also curious how WWE was going to do the DVD. So I said, you know what, I'm going to get this and I'm going to see it immediately. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to see this immediately. So here's my review of the Best of WCW Nitro. The ratings are in the description box. Now, these are TV matches. Half those matches had commercial breaks, so maybe those ratings aren't 100% accurate. But in case some people were asking, they're there. I didn't put the moments in the description box because I didn't have enough room. However, let me just say that this DVD I thought was an excellent DVD. I thought it was very well put by WWE. This DVD is perfect for someone like myself, someone who was not there during WCW, wants to learn as much as possible, and is already a wrestling historian. I do consider myself a wrestling historian because I always try to go back and watch as much old wrestling as I can. And I know a lot about the main storylines in WCW, but I didn't really see a lot of the TV angles that really connected them. And this is perfect for me because I can see those TV angles to the storylines that I've known. And at the same time, because I didn't watch the product back then, I wouldn't get pissed off if stuff is left out of the set. Like, when the set was over, I couldn't really say, oh, well, this should have been here, this shouldn't have been here, because I wasn't watching. Like, if you made a best of 2002 through 2006 SmackDown, oh, yeah, I would be furious if certain matches weren't there that should be there. Oh, I was watching Raw, too, during that period, but SmackDown was always my favorite show. I mean, I watched Raw, but I watched Raw more for the angles. There's only very few Raw matches off the top of my head I can tell you that were amazing. The TLC 4... maybe Triple H Shawn Michaels on New Year's Eve. I didn't see the Chris Benoit Triple H Iron Man match. I was actually away on vacation, and I told myself, oh, they'll probably release it on some DVD one day. Oh, how foolish of me. So yeah, I've never seen that match. But there's not that many. On SmackDown, I can tell you a million amazing SmackDown matches from that point. So this set, for me, was great. This one was perfect as far as storytelling goes. They perfectly build up the NWO, and this is especially, they perfectly built up Sting and Lex Luger and the Sting turn. He didn't really turn heel, but he changed his character. They built up Sting and Luger. They built up throughout the DVD how Sting didn't really trust Luger, how Luger was kind of sort of tweener, and Sting was always giving him the benefit of the doubt. They were very forgiving. They worked together. Eventually, they worked together to fight the NWO. And then when they had the fake Sting attack Luger, Luger thought Sting betrayed him. And then Sting told Luger, hey, man, it wasn't me. I swear to you. It was someone else. And Luger didn't believe him. Now, if you've seen the 1996 War Games match, this further connects that. But then Sting said, basically, he went on a microphone and he said, I gave Luger so many times the benefit of the doubt, and he can't give it to me this one time. I'm tired with this company. I'm fed up. And then he left, and he became Scorpion Sting. They built that up perfectly. They built up the NWO perfectly. However, the rest of the DVD didn't really follow through, like the Goldberg title win. We did not see, we didn't see one Goldberg match before his match with Hogan. Now, they built that match as the biggest match in Nitro history. Shouldn't you have shown some sort of Goldberg Nitro match? One? Just one? Building up how Goldberg was a monster? Don't tell me how he's a monster the night that he wins the title. You couldn't just put one? But like I said, I wasn't really watching at the time, so I can't really complain. There's a lot of really good cruiserweight matches all throughout the disc. They told 97 well with the Luger title win. They did that really well. They portrayed a lot of really good moments on here. And like I said, just a lot of great action throughout. And I will say, the third disc I thought was horrendous. Horrendous. Now, the DDP Sting match on that third disc is tremendous. That's one of the best TV matches I've ever seen. That's probably the best WCW TV match I've ever seen. Actually, the Ric Flair Guerrero match I thought was a little better. But that whole third disc, I mean, good Lord. After August of 99, it just goes on a downturn. Like, you look at the ratings, you know, after the six-man, which that six-man was crazy. Like, I've never seen it. It was like an 8-minute match, and the crowd was just excited the whole match. The whole match. Non-stop for 8 minutes. Every spot that was done. It was insane. But then DDP squashed Billy Kidman, and Billy Kidman got a roll of victory, and then DDP squashed him after the match. No, WCW, that's not how you get someone over. Bret Hart and Goldberg had a short match that was okay. Kevin Nash Sid Vicious had a short match that wasn't very good with a bad finish. Jeff Jarrett DDP had a pretty bad cage match. 3-count Junk Dragons had a fun ladder match. Booker T and Lance Storm had a fun, okay match. The Triple Cage War Games match was horrendous. That's one of the worst matches I've ever seen in my life. Such a stupid freaking concept. Like, if you look in the description, I believe those were the teams. They basically counted Chronic as one person, even though there's two people, and it's a tag team. But they counted them as one person. So basically, it was a 5-on-4 match, and Chronic both came out at the same time. It made no sense. There was a third cage that no one got in because there was 3 cages stacked on top of each other, and they hanged the world title belt above the third cage, and you had to grab the title belt and escape the whole structure to win the match. But the third cage, no one goes through that third cage. You just climb over it to grab the belt. What's the point of even having it there? Legit, it was such an overbooking nightmare. I've never ever seen a worse overbooking disaster on a TV show. -2.5 stars, and the Sting Flair match was all right. So that third disc is pretty skippable. That DDP Sting match is pretty great though. The second disc, you know, you have Juventud and Billy Kidman, which is really good, and Rey and Jericho, which is really good. And Hogan Luger, that moment is really great. And same with Hogan Goldberg. That crowd, when he wins the title, that's just amazing. Other notable matches, Ric Flair Guerrero was the best match in the whole disc. That match is tremendous storytelling. Tremendous storytelling. Old school style match. Awesome match. I believe this is the best match they ever had against each other. Someone can tell me another one. Fine. Hogan and Savage tag was good. Oh, yeah, the beginning part of Nitro, how Nitro started, like in 95, and how Hogan was the man, they explained that very well. That led up to the NWO formation, because throughout the beginning part of the disc, they were saying how big of a deal it was that Hogan was the man of Nitro, and then he turned and formed the NWO. So yeah, this disc is a very, very good compilation. A lot of very enjoyable TV matches. Now I know the ratings aren't that high, but like I said, it is a bunch of TV matches. But they do explain most of the angles and most of the characters. It's really quite enjoyable. I really had a good time with it. I gave it an 8.5. Maybe some people who watched during that period might rate it lower, or maybe they might rate it higher. I don't know. But there are some great moments too that I can't quite remember off the top of my head. The Bret Hart steel plate moment is really, really well done angle. There's a few other ones. The Sting promo is really good. There's a lot of angles that, like I said, I couldn't really I couldn't really quite remember, but they're all really good stuff. And so yeah, I definitely recommend this best of WCW Nitro. Good stuff. I really enjoyed it. Oh, and they have Ric Flair returning, which is one of the best segments in Nitro history. All right, then we got the TNA pay-per-view. This pay-per-view I thought sucked. I am sorry. I did not enjoy this. There are two really, really good matches, but it doesn't save the show for me. There's just too much shit on this show. The opener was good. Morgan Steiner was okay, a million times better than I expected. Abyss, Kazarian, Brian Kendrick was horrendous. They completely and utterly buried the X Division in this match. Abyss destroyed these men. It was a basic squash match, and it was a 2-on-1 match. It wasn't a triple threat. It was 2-on-1. Kendrick and Kazarian teamed up the whole match to fight Abyss, and they still were getting squashed the whole match. They came off like such losers, such geeks. Terrible match. Hated that match. Joe and Crimson I also thought sucked. Joe just clearly didn't care, and Crimson was kind of short on some of his offense. And the match just seemed like a bunch of moves at points, and it kind of ended out of nowhere. Wasn't very bad match. Well, not very bad, but not good. This is probably Joe's worst match I've ever seen, really. This was bad. The Mickie James Angelina Love match was bad. I just don't like Angelina Love. I've never liked her. Oh my god. No good. No good. Sting Anderson was one of the worst, probably the worst TNA World Title match I've ever seen. That Sting Jeff Hardy match doesn't really count. But this match, like, good God, I don't think I've ever seen a worse TNA World Title match, and that says something. Like, good Lord, Sting has had way better matches than this. His triple threat match was better than this. His match with RVD was miles ahead of this. Like, Jesus Christ, Sting has never put on this bad of a performance. This was just shitty. This was so bad. Anderson's not good. And I like Anderson. I'm a Mr. Anderson fan, but he's just not good. He just had one of those nights, like his match with RVD at Destination X, where he kind of works over the arm and does that the whole match, and there's nothing becomes of it. I mean, good Lord, I hated that match. I really didn't like that match. Now, the opener was a lot of fun. Bully Ray AJ Styles is a really, really good match. It's actually a great match, but it has a fucking shitty finish. That was the worst finish in the whole show, in my opinion. I just thought that was so stupid. You have AJ Styles jump off a freaking 15-foot structure, and then he loses, and then Bully Ray just freaking kicks him into a little stage. Like, that, oh my god, that seemed like it wasn't a big deal at all. The guy jumps off a 15-foot structure and gets up, and Ray kicks him into the stage, and he, like, falls a few feet forward, and that's it? He's dead after that? Bullshit. I hated that finish. The match was great, but I'm sorry, I have to deduct points. Angle Jarrett I thought was really, really good. I thought it was a really good main event. It ended the feud nicely. You know, I was upset when Angle didn't win at Lockdown, but I can kind of get it now. They treated it like finally Kurt Angle beat Jeff Jarrett in their last match. So, whatever, I'm fine with it. And it was a really good match. But still, this match and the Bully Ray match was not enough to save the show for me. There's just too much crap. There was like a good hour of crap from like the X Division match, from the Morgan Steiner match through the Bully Ray match. Like that, boom, that straight hour. I was just sitting there going, God, this show just sucks. And the world title match was terrible. Technically, the Knockouts match was the worst match of the night, but like I kind of expect that by this point. Like the world title match, I thought was really, really bad. And the X Division title match too. Good Lord, those are probably two of the worst championship title matches I've ever seen. So yeah, unfortunately, I have to give the show a 5.75. You know, there are two really, really good matches. Not great. If they were both great, I'd probably give this like a 6.5, but neither of them are great. And there's just too much crap on here. I'm sorry. This was a bad show. Not a good show. Then we got Card Subject to Change 3. This is a very overrated show, in my opinion. Very overrated. All the reviews I've seen are like 8.5, 8.75. I think one website gave it a 9. Ah, God, I couldn't believe it at all. I think this show is very overrated. Nothing's overrated. The first two matches, nothing's overrated in the sense of the first few matches. The first few matches, it's kind of okay. You know, Johnny Uo and Peter Avalon was all right. Candice LeRae, Portia Perez was all right. Willie Mack, Roderick Strong was a fucking great match. I love that match. Wrestling-wise, it was probably only 3 3/4, but the way they made Willie Mack look, like he looked so good by the end of this match, and the crowd just came alive throughout this match. the whole atmosphere and experience made this a 4-star match, and a high 4-star match too. I really, really enjoyed this match. Great job by both men. The low-key Akira Tozawa match was extremely disappointing. And I said this on my Twitter. Low-key is one of the best wrestlers in the world. However, I think when it comes to controlling the psychology of a match, he still kind of wrestles the WWE style. I mean, his match with Davey Richards, it wasn't the same. Davey controlled the offense of that match. Low-key had his comebacks. But this match, Low-key was controlling the offense. I mean, just look at what he was doing, like body scissors, abdominal stretches, walking around very slowly, throwing Akira Tozawa to the turnbuckles. That's a WWE heel offense. And that's not something I really expect from Low-key. Now, granted, well, what else can a heel do to gain control? There's a lot of things that a lot of wrestlers have done that were better. Low-key kind of just seemed kind of slow. Maybe he was taking the night off. I don't know. He would occasionally, like, Akira Tozawa make a comeback and he would just kick him. That was good. But it wasn't enough. His offense was just really, really slow, and it dragged the match down. Then Tozawa made his comeback, and the match got a lot better. Tozawa making his comeback, and Low-key and Tozawa interacted with each other, and it was great. They should have had a match similar to what Tozawa had with BB Hulk, where generally it was just kind of nonstop. That would have been a little better in the situation. I thought they would have had a much better match, but I thought the match was very disappointing. I gave it 3.5. Johnny Good Time Ryan Taylor, I thought was good. 3.25. Moving on. Claudio Castagnoli and Joey Ryan. I thought this match was also kind of overrated. And I like both guys a lot. And I like the storytelling in this match too. But the beginning of this match just went on too long. This match was like 25 minutes. And the first 10 minutes was kind of pointless. Like, you could have taken off those first 10 minutes, and this match probably would have been a 4-star match. I truly believe that. This match was getting so good by the end. So good. But I just couldn't forget the first few minutes. I'm not saying I was bored, because I wasn't. It was just like a waste of time. It was just like, does it really need to go this long? And so I detracted some points of what was on its way to being a 4-star match. But it ended up being a 3.5-star match, because it just takes too long to make its point. But still a really good match. 3.5. The main event, I think, is a really, really good match, but also kind of overrated. I like the Young Bucks, too. I love their 2009 title defenses. But this match just kind of felt like a bunch of moves, which isn't a bad thing, necessarily, especially in the indie scene. Well, it can be, but it wasn't tonight. But I don't know, something about it, I just wasn't feeling it. I was just like, this is like every Young Bucks match I've ever seen in my life. And I love the Young Bucks, and I will be at Best in the World live, and I can't wait to see them against Cole and O'Reilly. But I do think they can get kind of repetitive at times. And I don't know, it's just like, this didn't do anything for me. Kind of like El Generico Ricochet, which everyone was saying was like one of the best matches of the year. And I saw it, and I was just like, this doesn't do anything for me. This match didn't do anything for me, really. I never really marked out. I was just kind of watching the moves and going, okay, good. It was a really good match, but like nothing spectacular. So yeah, I'm giving the show 7.75. There's only one great match, and there's a few really good matches. Maybe I probably might have given the show an 8, but the show also kind of feels kind of pointless. There is a tag title switch. Actually, I probably shouldn't have said that, but whatever, I already said it. But still, like, it kind of just feels like a standard house show besides the switch. There's no real reason to watch the show. Like, DDT4 was special. Kurt Russell Reunion in its own way was special. This reminded me a lot of Cyanide, except not as good wrestling. So, yeah. But still, this was still, a really good show. Not a great show. And in my opinion, every PWG show should be at least great. I know True Slayer thinks they should be at least amazing. I won't go that far. I think they should be at least great. And this one wasn't even great in my opinion. So yeah, 7.75. Sorry. I know a lot of you guys aren't going to like that. What do you want from me? I just didn't enjoy it as much. Next week, International Incident. This show was horrendous. This show was the worst indie show I've ever seen in my life. I hated this show. I can't believe, oh my god, I hated this show. Callahan O'Reilly. This was a fun opener, but this show, by the way, took place in the Union City. If those who don't know, Union City must be the worst fucking crowd ever in pro wrestling. This crowd sucks for CZW, they sucked for WSU, and they suck for Dragon Gate USA. In Chikara, they're okay. And I'm not saying that because I'm a huge Chikara fan. I think because the fans there are more into the characters there. But in Chikara, they're okay. They're not great, but they're okay. However, for whatever reason, that crowd today, god awful. Not today, on this show, I guess. God awful. And this is a very small crowd, too. maybe that's part of it. But Callahan O'Reilly, I thought it was a fun match, but like I said, the crowd kind of heard it. They were telling a good story, and I like both guys a lot, but the crowd kind of heard it, 2 3/4. Gulak Zack Sabre Jr. I like this match. This reminded me a lot of Colt Cabana and TJ Perkins at Final Battle. Just a lot of great mat wrestling on the ground, and that was basically the whole match, but it was very entertaining. This is probably my favorite match in the show, even though it's not the best match on the show. Phillies Most Wanted versus Bandito Jr. and Azrael. I also like this match. A little too short, but I liked it. It's enjoyable. Adam Cole, Rich Swann. This was too short for me. This match was only like 7 minutes, and it was going along so well. And I don't know, the night after Adam Cole wins the best of the best, and he's in a mid-card match with Rich Swann for 8 minutes, come on, they could have done better than that. This match could have semi-main evented, and it could have been given 15 minutes, and it would have been a hell of a lot better. So it just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. The 6-man is my only 3-star match, and I'm not going to lie, it was a total spot fest. Total spot fest, like one of those X Division rankings matches back in 06, 07 for TNA. But it was a fun spot fest. It was short, and it got more energy out of the crowd than anything else in the show. So 3 stars. Jon Moxley, Jake Crist. I thought this was okay. Actually, the actual wrestling was a lot lower than this, but I like Jake Crist a lot, and I thought that he had a good performance here, so I kind of bumped up the rating. The match was kind of okay. This was Jon Moxley's last match in CZW, and this is what they did with him. A freaking 6-minute match with Jake Crist that led into Devin, that was all to build up to Robert Anthony's match. Come on. Now, the show up to this point isn't that bad. It's bad because there's only one good match, which on an indie show is unacceptable. But, like, I enjoyed Gulak Zack Sabre Jr. I enjoyed the Phillies Most Wanted match. I enjoyed the Jon Moxley Jake Crist match. And I did enjoy the other 2 matches, but they kind of left a little bit bad taste in my mouth. The last 3 matches is what kills the show. The last 3 matches are the worst 3 matches in the show. First, you get the worst match of the night. Devin Moore versus Robert Anthony. This is a 6-minute match. Very pointless. Moore wins with a freaking roll-up out of nowhere, and these guys end up having the exact same match at Proving Ground, which is what really pissed me off. What's even the purpose of this match? The way that CCW books this title is atrocious. This is almost worse than when the WWE was booking the world title earlier in the year, where Dolph Ziggler won the title because Vicky Guerrero gave it to him. They booked this title so terribly. I was such a big fan of Robert Anthony back in December. I was saying he was one of the best gimmicks in all of wrestling. And then he won the title, and I thought, this is great. He's going to have a nice long title run. It's going to be booked great. He has the match with Devin Moore at Best of the Best with the Briscoes. And Devin Moore won. And I wasn't happy, but the crowd exploded for the finish. And I like Devin Moore, so I was like, okay with it. I'm like, you know what, build a feud between these 2 guys. Robert Anthony will be okay. But this feud has been booked so horribly. 2 back-to-back average matches that ended with Devin Moore winning out of nowhere. And now they're having, like, they were going to have a 1-on-3 match at the next show. This title's booked like shit. I hate the way this title's booked. And I did not like this match. Worst match on the show. Then we got DJ Hyde versus Daisuke Sekimoto. This pissed me off more than any other match in the show. You have Daisuke Sekimoto and you put him with DJ Hyde. Seriously? All the tremendous talent that this promotion has, and you put Daisuke Sekimoto with DJ Hyde? And they had the matches you'd expect. It was an 8-minute squash match. Thank you, DJ Hyde, for pairing yourself with Daisuke Sekimoto. Very smart decision. And then we had Junka Sai Necro Butcher. This also pissed me off. I did not like this match. This match was just garbage brawling around the crowd. They go in the ring, they hit each other with a few chairs, and it's over. Very short, very pointless match. It was only 11 minutes. I don't understand why CCW would book it. And I just left a really bad taste in my mouth after the match. I'm like, I haven't seen Necro Butcher in like 6 months, and this is how I finally see him in a 6-minute, in a 10-minute garbage brawl match with Junka Sai. And Junka Sai should have been used way better than this. So yeah, this show just really pissed me off. And this was the day after Best in the Best. And granted, I didn't expect the show to be any good, but I didn't expect it to be this bad either. Good Lord. I guess this is why you save all your energy on the Friday show for the Saturday show. Because on Best of the Best, they went all out. They had an amazing show, one of the best shows of the year, and then they come back with this shit. I hated the show. Worst indie show I've ever seen. Stay the fuck away from it. Now we get to Proving Grounds, which a show that made me angry, but I didn't hate as much as most people did because there is a fucking great match on here. And I am giving the show a 7.25, 7.77, I don't know. But yeah, I know ECW Hardcore 07, Trademark, and LV really hated this show. But here's my problem with why they hated this show. Because, well, not with why they hated the show, but just like with the rating system in general. A lot of times, we as wrestling fans, I've done it myself in the past, we will take a show and we will go, well, you know what? There's so many bad booking decisions on this show. I'm going to take off a full point off my overall rating. And a lot of wrestling fans do it. I've done it in the past too, where they basically say the booking pissed me off so much, I'm going to detract my overall score a lot. However, you will never, ever, ever see someone who does it the other way around. Oh, well, you know what? There's a lot of great booking decisions on this show, so I'm going to add a full point to my rating. You may see a 0.25, 0.5 on a good day, but never a full point or more. And that's my problem. No one ever does that. So why would we do it the other way around if we don't do it on the front side? Whenever people get like a show with like 1 4-star match and a bunch of good matches, they might be afraid to give that show an 8 because other people might look down upon them or something. I don't know, some stupid fucked up logic like that. But they will never, ever, ever say, oh my God, all these shows. I'm not saying LV, Trademark, and Jim won't do it. I'm just saying wrestling fans in general, or reviewers like ourselves. You will never, ever say, oh, there's great booking all around. I'm going to add several points to my overall score. Because that doesn't happen. You do it when it's bad, but you don't do it when it's good. So therefore, in my opinion, it's not fair. So I'm going to give the show what I would give it. I only took off like a few points for the bad booking, but not a lot. Like I just barely took off points. So that's why the score gets what it is. Rich Swann versus Alex Colon. Good match, fun, and the post-match segment was great. I don't want to ruin it. Go watch it. Tyler Veritas, Ryan Eagles. Went too long. Crowd wasn't into it. Kind of pointless. I'm glad they're building back up Tyler Veritas, though. It's good that he got a pin. Because he was on track to being the guy to dethrone Adam Cole, but then Adam Cole got so big, and Tyler Veritas had to start back from the bottom. So maybe they're trying to build something back up with him. I don't know, but good stuff. Then we got Akuma, Jonathan Gresham. Fun match. Not as good as their oh God, whatever the fuck. Small beginnings come from great things. Great things come from... I can't even remember the name of that goddamn show. The January show. Not as good as that match, but this match was still alright. Jake Chris, Ryan McBride. I'm a Jake Chris fan. This was good. Masada, Sami Callihan. Really good match. Like, really, really good. Had a lot of fun with it. Really enjoyed it. Danny Havoc versus Ryan Slater. Done. This was an ultraviolet match that ended in a DQ. Vince Russo, hello. This was such a shitty fucking decision. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. A regular match ending in a DQ. I am not kidding. I mean, a ultraviolet match ending in a DQ. That was bullshit. So I gave that a dud. And then Danny Havoc in 13 versus the Runaways. They basically had a match immediately afterwards. The Runaways is Ryan Slater and his partner. His partner's the guy that ran in for the DQ. And 13 came down and they had an ultraviolet rules match. It was okay. A lot of garbage spots. Nothing much to it. Next we get my most hated feud of 2011. Devin Moore versus Robert Anthony. This feud is worse than anything TNA is doing in my opinion. And, well, I haven't seen the full Angelina Love stuff. I heard that stuff pretty bad. But this match was shitty. This match it wasn't shitty, but it was the world title match. It went on a little too long, and then it ended, like, again, Devin Moore winning kind of out of nowhere. I didn't really like this match that much, and I hate the booking of this feud. Then we had the worst match of the year. Yes, I said that. The worst match of the year. The Briscoes versus the Nigerian Nightmares. This match was ridiculous. Robert Anthony said he had a team coming out, and the Nigerian Nightmares come out. They have a match. It's a very shitty match. Very, 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 very horrible match. Now, granted, it was better than I expected. I don't know. So for some reason, I expected like a negative 5-star match. But that's not saying much. It only gets half a star. It was such a terrible, terrible match. These two guys, Nigerian Nightmares, were like 600 pounds. That's an overstatement, but still. Actually, it might not be. And they just threw the Briscoes around. It was a shitty match, the worst Briscoes match I've ever seen. And then immediately after the match, Philly's Most Wanted says, hey, you said we can have a match anytime, any place. How about now? Jay Briscoe's on the fucking floor, and he says, sure. He's hurt, but he says sure. And then Joker or Sabian, the Black G's, hits Mark Briscoe with brass knucks, and the Philly's Most Wanted win back the titles. Come on. Are you kidding me? Why Jay Briscoe is the dumbest babyface in the world, agreeing to defend his titles when he can't wrestle. What a very intelligent person. And I love Jay Briscoe. He cut the promo of the year recently, but in kayfabe wise, he is so stupid for doing that. And then the Briscoes lose the titles to Philly's Most Wanted. What was the point of taking them from Philly's Most Wanted in the first place? Hated this. Hated this. Half a star. Then we got Adam Cole, AR Fox. These guys had a pretty good match. However, not main event quality. I like AR Fox, but I don't think he's quite ready to be main eventing shows yet. And I like AR Fox a lot. A lot. I really like the guy. I just think he needs a little more time. Because I thought this match could have been a lot better. And the post-match angle, which I know some people hated. I know LV Trademark and ECW Hardcore 7 hated this. Where DJ Hyde basically turned on AR Fox. And he helped Adam Cole win the match. And he and Adam Cole became friends. And then Sami Callihan came afterwards and took them both down. I didn't mind it because I don't hate DJ Hyde as a heel. As like the Mr. McMahon type character. I don't mind it. The only thing I don't like about it is that it did take away a lot of heat from Adam Cole. Adam Cole, after Best of the Best, came off like the biggest freaking heel in the world. The biggest heel in the world after Best of the Best. And now you're just making DJ Hyde the biggest heel in the company, which I disagree with. I thought Adam Cole should have been that guy. You know, I thought he was doing really good, maybe because I'm an Adam Cole mark, but I thought he was doing really good with that role. And I think this kind of takes away some heat from Adam Cole, which I don't like. That's why I didn't like it. But I don't hate DJ Hyde turning heel in and of itself. I don't care if he's the owner of the promotion. The guy ran the wrestling school for a long time. I believe he still does run the wrestling school. He's still an active wrestler. I don't care if he's the owner or not. I'm fine with him wrestling. I'm just fine. So, yeah, I didn't mind it. So that's why that main event didn't piss me off like it did piss them off. However, the Devin Moore stuff pissed me off. The Briscoe stuff pissed me off. The DQ match pissed me off. However, there is a golden light on this show. For there is Drake Younger versus Scotty Vortex. This match is incredible. This match is amazing. I loved this match. This match was my CCW match of the year. It's in my top 10 matches of the year. I thought this match was just outstanding. I absolutely love both guys' performance. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the match because it kind of, at the end, they kind of do a bunch of one counts, which I get a bunch of people don't like, but I was okay with it because it really showed like a newfound intensity. Like, oh my God, they're still going. Like, if one person had kicked out of one count, I would have been pissed because it would have been like, well, what's the point of that? You've been kicking out of all of this stuff, and now it's just another one count. But since it was back and forth, like they did it 5 times in a row, some people saw it as overkill. I didn't. I thought it worked. I thought it was okay, and the crowd still bought into it, so I was fine with it. Now, to me, the finish, the finish isn't a bad finish, but it's like, I don't know, I think they did some stuff during the match that was more severe than what the finish was. So in that sense, maybe I thought the finish kind of peaked, but the crowd was still into it, so I wouldn't say it would necessarily. And this match was incredible. Like I said, incredible. I originally gave it 4.5. I docked it to 4.25, but it's a very, very high 4.25. An absolutely amazing, amazing match. You all need to see this match. That match kind of saves the show for me. I give the show a 7.25. I understand I understand people being upset with some of the booking. Normally, under these star ratings, I would have given the show like an 8. An 8 or an 8.25. I took off like 0.75 points. Maybe, actually, no, I took off 0.5 because I was going to give it a 7.75 originally. And that 7.75 through an 8. I wasn't decided yet. But I took off some points because the booking did really piss me off, like even more than a normal TNA show would. This show pissed me off far more than the TNA show did. But there's just some amazing wrestling. That Scotty Vortex match is great. The Messiah Sami Callihan match is really good. The main event is still really good in my opinion. The first 4 matches, actually besides the Tyler Veritas match, those matches are all fun and enjoyable. So really, 7.25. I know some people aren't going to like that, but whatever. Now we get to the WSU show, WSU, the final chapter. This show was great because of one match, because the undercard in the show was pretty shitty. I don't really want to talk about the undercard too much. I'm not a big WSU guy. This was my first show, so the opener was whatever. The second match was shitty. The third match, I like Amy Lee. I saw her in the Jim Cornette ring roast. I like her character. Like I'll say this about WSU. It's not like in TNA where all the knockouts are cursing. In WSU, Amy Lee's the only one that curses, so she stands out. You know, it's not like in TNA where everyone's freaking calling each other a bitch and a whore. In WSU, she's the only one that does it, so it works. And so, yeah, Amy Lee definitely did a really good job there. And Amelia Kraft, Allison Kay was all right. Actually, it was kind of shitty, but it was almost okay. Marty Bell, Cindy Rogers, Jana was okay. Alicia and Sassy Stephanie versus Rick Cataldo, Brittany Savage was my second best match of the night. I thought the match was good. solid. Jessica Havoc versus Nikki Roxx, good but disappointing. I don't know, something was missing with this match, something that just didn't click right with me. Then we got the match of the year, in my opinion. Angel Orsini versus Mercedes Martinez in a ladder match. This match is amazing, ladies and gentlemen. If you think women's wrestling is dead, you are wrong. You are wrong, because this match shows women's wrestling is still alive. This match had that effect on me that Bryan Danielson, Johnny Gargano did, where, like, I will remember it forever, and I can remember it spot for spot, pretty much. And it was a 40-minute match, too. It was a really long match. But, I don't know, something about it. I just thought the storytelling was tremendous. Like, these girls basically just kept going back and forth for 40 minutes. Now, I know some of you thinking, oh, that might be a spot fest. Not really. They did it at a point where, like, Orsini would work over Martinez and would use the ladder as more of a weapon, like the way Kaz and Christian did in their ladder match, as opposed to actually climbing up it and doing spots off of it. They used it more as a weapon, and it became part of the psychology. Mercedes would make a comeback, and Angel would kind of bring her down. Then Mercedes would come back, and Angel would bring her down again. They did several spots off the ladder, including a really great, not as good as the WrestleMania 17 Edge Jeff Hardy spear spot, but it was almost as good for women in an indie match. This match was amazing. I don't know, something about it just being like a 40-minute match, like a really Iron Woman match. These women were just going at it, and they wouldn't stop. They kept going and going, and I really, really loved it. I really dug it. My only problem with this match is the crowd. The crowd was horrendous. They were dead silent the whole match. And so, yeah, that might piss a lot of people off. I can understand a lot of people watching this match and thinking it's overrated. I still think you're wrong, but but I can understand the crowd pissing people off. However, I was able to get past the crowd, and I really thought this was the match of the year. I gave it 4 3/4 stars. Better than Undertaker versus Triple H. I'm sorry, I did. I really, really thought it. I love that match. I'm not gonna lie. I keep thinking about this match. Even the day after I saw it, I just can't stop thinking about that match. Just like the Bryan Danielson Johnny Gargano match, I can't stop thinking about it. So yeah, that match was tremendous. The best women's match I've ever seen in my life. And really, also, before you see the match, you have to see like the first 10 minutes of the show. They really explain the feud between these girls and why it's such a big deal. And if you understand that these girls have been feuding for like 2 years and this is the culmination match, it really makes you think this match is a 5-star classic. I didn't give it 5 stars. I almost did, but the crowd kind of hurt it for me. And there was maybe a few things that were missing, I guess, but still an absolutely amazing match. I can give the show an 8 just for that match because I feel you need to see this match and you need to see the first few minutes of the show. So definitely go check out the final chapter, watch those first few minutes, and see, in my opinion, the match of the year. This match was better than any Ring of Honor match I've seen this year. Definitely the best match of the year. Go check it out. Alright, some shoots. I want to get this video under 40 minutes. The Jim Cornette Bill Watts Volume 2 was very good. Not as good as Volume 1, but still very good. They talked more about Bill Watts in the 90s, his WCW days, his short stint with the WWF. That took him most of the time. It was still very good. Timeline history of the WWE 1985 with Greg Valentine. Very good, very informative. Actually, I would say it was great. I really enjoyed it. Better than the previous 2. I don't know if it was better than the Jim Duggan one, but I thought it was close. Actually, I think this might have been the best timeline history I've ever seen. Really informative. Greg Valentine goes really in depth. Straight shooting with CM Punk and Colt Cabana. Very rare. I got this in combination with another Ring of Honor DVD I bought almost a year and a half ago. This was amazing. This was so funny. Cabana and Punk shared so many hilarious stories. That's basically the whole DVD. Them telling stories and them telling them how they're con men. It was just amazing. I really enjoyed it. So funny. Wrestling's most controversial moment. This is from KV Commentaries. This is very short. This is only 50 minutes long. I've made YouTube videos longer than this thing, but it's very good. They had a poll, the top 5 most controversial moments that the fans voted on, and the wrestlers give their commentary on it. Now, I disagree with the list. I think some of the stuff in that list didn't really belong in there. I don't want to ruin it, but I do think that the wrestlers' commentary on the list, whether or not it was controversial or not, is the best part of the DVD. The roundtable debate that these wrestlers have. Like, it's different shots, but these wrestlers all talk about the moments that are described, and they go in depth and talk about the wrestling business, and that's great. Because I love it when you have so many people talking about the wrestling business at one time. It provides for a great commentary. So I'd say it was very, very good. Like I said, it's very short. It's only 50 minutes. So I'd probably wait till it goes on Ring of Honor's site, and you can get it on sale. But it's still very, very good, and the commentary is really good. So yeah. WSU, go check out the match of the year. CZW shows, both kind of pissed me off, but the second one has a really great match on it. PWG show, kind of disappointing. TNA show sucked. WCW DVD, great. And like I said, go check out the match of the year. Mercedes Martinez and Jushin. All right. Big Red 310. I'm out, guys. See ya.